Oh yeah, that's automatic. That like $20 not bad. I thought it didn't hit you harder than that. That's just because they're not paying you very much.
It's pre-planned time.
You know that man you're outside? This is North Carolina. Man, you start from down home. Right? That's all? No.
Coach?
Okay.
Sure.
Can you what?
Coach.
You wouldn't expect anything less.
And we have a PowerPoint up here of
Getting a speech right
young
now.
Dick and old Dick. Enjoy that right easy.
Okay.
We can start with that first, guest of honor, and work. Food trays. Okay, that's better. Now I feel like once again, I'd like to thank y'all here to celebrate Dick's very, very very long career in RCS. And where can I start? Well, how about the beginning of time? Or how about when Dick's hair was red? Or I heard he just woke up one day and it just all turned white. You've heard the expression older than dirt, or we say older than Dick. In all seriousness, Richard Sparks is a man of many talents. Whether it's range, crop, field, or irrigation, he has done it all. He is a person I call with questions on all subjects. And some of you may know and some of you may not know. Sometimes it's hard to get a quick answer out of Dick. And that's why we call him Professor Sparks sometimes. When I call him, the conversation usually goes something like this. Me, hey Dick, I have a quick question. 2 hours later, Dick, thanks Dick, thanks for that answer. No, really, all seriousness, I've worked with Dick quite a bit since I've been at the agency. He's taught me a lot. Sometimes he can be hard on you with those comments he makes, like get out to the field. It's hard to do quality plans from behind your desk, where you have to talk to the landowner to do a good plan. But I've always known his heart's in the right place, and only wants us to do our best. Most importantly, help people help the land. Thank you, Dick, for all your help and for your continued help in the future. See you at work next week. Now I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Mike Collins, the EC, for his top 10 reasons why Dick Sparks retired as well.
Mr. Sparks, think back to the first trip to North Dakota for the soil health meeting. Dick says, I've never traveled so much with an AC before. And I think we made 2 other trips since then. It's been really an honor having you as an agronomist in the valley and working with you. And I think this is just a special night. And we got a variety presentations to do. The last trip, if you have it close to being ready, I put the camera running on Dick to see why he was retiring. What are your top 8, 10, 12, we couldn't count, we'll notice. What are your top 10 reasons why you're going to retire and leave us? So he's going to go over those. Meanwhile, the camera's running. For those of you who get motion sickness, I tried to alleviate some of the movement, but it's basically a 15-minute video from going from here to Bismarck, and with some other pictures of Dick along the way. So,
You may just have to get up there and tell us.
so you ready for another road trip, 2012? You what?
Another road trip? 2012. Another road trip for Richard.
Gotta be warm in Bismarck.
It's gotta be warm, yeah.
Well, thanks, Dick, for everything you've done. The work you've provided at the valley level and also the San Juan Basin. Appreciate everything you've done. Just really a good traveling partner. When you make 3 trips to Bismarck, you kind of cover a lot of things. So, you know, thank you.
See what I mean? Answer for a quick answer. In 1972, Dick, I was -2. Just saying. Next, we'll turn it over to Rod Clark and do whatever he's going to do. Well, while we're waiting for this, I got a few more Dickisms to tell you all about that I collected from some people. Just a few. Dick is a man of mystery. Whenever we needed to find him, it was a mystery where he was at. His carbon footprint will be greatly reduced now that Dick isn't cruising the valley every day. You never knew how Dick ever got any desk work done since he could never find it. And you never knew if Dick was moving in or out of his office because he always had boxes piled everywhere. And they're still there. He was waiting to retire.
We're having technical difficulties here, but I'll go ahead and move on. I couldn't pass up an opportunity to talk a little bit. And Dick, in your honor, in anyone's honor, you know there's 2 different ways we celebrate someone, and that is you toast them or you roast them. It's all the same. Okay, so I'm here to toast you. First. And as you noticed, what we put on every table was kind of a collage of pictures of Dick at work. And I think they're really the epitome of what you brought to our agency. And if you look at those pictures, you see he's communicating with someone or a group of persons, and I think that was a real good strength of yours, what you brought to our agency. And I really appreciate that ability to communicate pass that knowledge on. That's really special, and that ability to be the teacher, or as Patrick called it, a professor. I think that was a job well done. So I want to commend you on that. That was a great example. It's coming. Okay. So well done on that, Dick. And then there is one other placemat, and I do believe I put it on your table, Dick. We're trying to get it up here on the screen. Yeah, that one. That one. This is, oh, come on. It's coming. Yeah, pass that one around. And again, this is that teaching aspect. But you could go to probably just about any field office in our area and walk into the conference room and look up on the blackboard, and you'll see this very same thing, maybe a little different format, but it's almost exactly the same. And you got to see the picture here for this to come together. We're still working on it. Click it that way. There we go. There we go. Everybody kind of see that. Hey, how many of us have seen this before or something like that?
That was our experience.
This was actually sent to me by another office. That's, we asked for pictures of Dick, and this thing came, and I go, well, that's not a picture of Dick. Why? What a great graphical representation. And you and your work. And the person that sent this to me, we thought, gee whiz, it's almost like a work of art, isn't it? You've got these lines drawn around here and over here. Look, we have lines going this way, and no, I didn't mean that, so I scratched it out. No, but we have to have this, and so that's underlined and emphasized. And so we thought, what should we call this? And so we decided we were going to name this A Glimpse into the Mind of Richard. So this is the aftermath of a training session. And it's so classic, and so we blew that up, and one of the placemats is that big, so we want you to use that.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I noticed Kurt was looking at it over here, checking it out and see.
Yeah, check the map.
Hey Rod, don't you think that maybe 100 years from now you can open up a folder and you'll find some little stuff from artists?
Oh, yeah.
They're around enough of them.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have. Thank you, Dick.
I like also.
Okay, one of the last things on the agenda is just to open it up to anybody who has any stories.
I've got one thing I need to do. I need to go ahead and introduce my family, for those of you that don't know already. Let's see if I can remember to do this. I'm not sure if I can you help me out on this? This is my wife, Nikki.
The boss.
The boss. Only one boss, the boss.
You said it.
I'm starting right now to actively look for a second boss because it's nice to be able to play one off against the other. My number one daughter. My oldest daughter.
Yeah.
Number one.
That's what you said.
Yeah, number one daughter here is Rebecca and her husband Travis. Groups. The teachers and such. And at the table right back over here is. I'll start with my daughters. Okay, Emily, 16. Raise your hand, Emily, so they can see you there. Okay, you didn't think you're going to be noticed, did you? Bianca is 13. And Bianca is my number. 14. I'll average with that. How's that? Okay. She's 14 years old. She's my number 7 daughter. I have 2 sons as well. She's been my
This is oldest and youngest.
yeah. She's 14 and you're
41.
41. Kathy, you told me she wasn't 41. You were saying she's quite a bit younger than that. Kathy Dix was born on the same day that Rebecca was. And year. That's right. Same day and year. My grandchildren here.
Go ahead, you noticed we weren't really good with math, so how did that equate with age?
I don't know. So, my grandkids are here too. Let's see. Some of them. Lindsay, raise your hand, Lindsay. And her boyfriend, what's his name again? This was named, Colby. He's not here. Okay, Cameron, you came in. Hi, how you doing? This is Cameron Garut. Cameron, and those of you that went to the benefit of surgery, okay, is the one that had, she's cancer free right now because I had to go through that. Tyler? Brent. Yes, Brent. So anyway. He's cousin too. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
I didn't know that was going to be so hard for me.
I would have had a quick change or something. Well, you know, you did that part. Follow it.
Does anybody else have any news stories they want to share?
I want to share something. Is that okay? Oh, go ahead. I'll share it.
I'll just say a few words. I came in here to have dinner with my wife. I don't know any of these people. This seems like a pretty good party here. Well, to the toast day, I guess I said, here's looking at you. Or say, here's looking at you. It's been a great career for you, and it was real great for me knowing you in all the years that I served with NRCS. So I want to thank you for all the help you've done and everything. I guess on another note, some of the things that Dick done that kind of inspired us and stuff and kind of set the stage was, and it was already mentioned, but I'll take a little different angle at it, was he always had the neatest desk I ever seen. And he only had a pen and a notebook on there. Everything else was real clean. And so I kind of took after him. So you know my desk, how it was. Anyway, on another note, I remember when he came down to my field office in Lahara, he always was like a drill sergeant. You had to have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, or you wouldn't get too good of a rating on your report. So, but anyway, Dick, you done a good job, and I was proud to be one of your followers, and you done a good job in the camera. Yeah, so, great job.
As his daughter, I just wanted to share, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys realize how honest and by the book my dad is.
Oh, yeah.
I used to get in trouble at home if I would be caught doing homework with a pen that said U.S. government, because that was not for that was work, that was only work, and we were told you couldn't even use the pens and pencils at the house that said that he accidentally brought home in his pocket or something that said U.S. government, because those were work. Go back to the office. Pen, pencil. But, and I never, ever, ever have sat in the front of a vehicle that's a work vehicle. Never. There were times we needed a ride somewhere or something, but if Dad had the work truck, he wouldn't do it. So I guess one of my funnest memories about my dad is, and it tickles me to hear you guys talking about the same thing, because my dad was super smart, so growing up, I knew, no offense, Mom, but I knew when it came to homework. No, I knew when it came to homework, especially math homework, and I teach math now, so I can thank my dad for that, but when it came to math homework, I knew I'd have to ask my dad. And I knew I'd get the right answer eventually. There was always just a little bit of dread in me that was like, oh, it's already 10 o'clock, it's going to be 11 before I go to bed. We used to always tell Dad, we'd ask him what time it was, and he'd tell us how to build a watch. So, I don't know. I don't think a girl could ask for a better dad, though. So, thank you.
Along that same line, the boss wants to speak now. One of these days, I'll gather up all the mugs that Dick stole and are still at my house crowding my cupboard. And I will also gather up the pens and the pencils that Dick stole from your office
That nobody could use.
nobody can use but him.
Anybody else? Pete has a story.
I do have some fun memories of this, of course. One of the fun is, I guess, I was coming down 17 and come from a training from Denver, and seen a government truck parked inside between Village Road and Bosca. They could get out of here, you know, so I looked in the truck, I didn't stop, I wanted to wake him up. And I was really concerned about that. See the little white head and everything. There's cars sticking in that. And later on, I asked him, well, what did you do, Dick? He said, oh, I got tires, so I thought I'd stop and just nap. I always got to remember just those, you know, those picture clips, I think I call them. They'll be spotted for years in these folders, as long as we have written down hit notes and everything else, I think we'll always find it. And the other thing, I was watching the pictures and all that. This man has meals a lot in his career. He's always on the ground. He wasn't talking to the people, he was talking to the microbiology.
Tracy?
Richard and Sparks and I go back a long time. If I look at those photos that we unveiled almost 22 years ago. So that's back when I was about 40 pounds lighter. And well, I had to tell one experience that we come back from the state office from some meeting that Sparks was driving into Turkey Canyon coming out of 285 there, and he got caught for speed. And so he got his license plate out, and gave it to him. He came back and he says, "What's your name?" He says, "Well, Dick Sparks." He says, "Your license just says Sparks on it. That's it." Yeah. It just said Sparks. No name, first name. So anyway, 22 years ago we worked together, and Dick has been a good mentor and a good example for the NRCS, and I think all of us are losing a lot tonight to have Dick retire, because it's a lot of history and a lot of good conservation that's come through Richard through the years, and I think he's could be really proud of his work.
A lot of history.
Yep.
He was our end of our food chain, you know. Yeah, it would always stop at Spark, except for engineering, right, Rod? We'll go to Dick for engineering. Carl?
Having worked for another agency, I see a shoe I would. So I appreciate all the cooperation I got with Dick, and NRCS is going to have to come up with someone to give presentations at that conference. I always have Dick doing irrigation and alfalfa or something. So I really appreciate him being able to do that. He did a good job. Now, Dick, would you
No.
What?
card. The card, please. Tina? Dick, you want to come up here?
He forgot.
On behalf of our state conservationist Phillips, I'd like to present you 41 years. Is there any months, dates with that? Right on. Right on, 41? June 2nd, 1969 to January 3rd, 2013.
Yay, Richard.
You have believe it or not, there is a camera. There's a camera. So when you open that up, you want to take pictures with that, along with another item. And then we also have, this looks familiar. This is not your first one. You probably wore out 3 or 4 of them, but here, sharpshooter. Thank you. And thanks for, it's been a real honor working with this guy. He is such a talent, knows the valley, knows the people, knows the cropping systems. Anything you ask him to do, he does it, including eating a sub sandwich while driving 75. Subway sandwich. We did make some time, we made some good trips, and a lot of good conservation. And we hope we continue to have a little bit more speech. Speech.
Give him an album. No, he's going to engrave my name on it. And then I'll come by. So Alan gave me one, was it 20 years ago? How long has it been? And he took it and engraved my name on it, and then he made me swear that I would always carry it inside the toolbox of my vehicle, and that I would sand it down once a year and put linseed oil on it, and that I would take care of it. And I really didn't do that. So 20 years later, the handle got pretty loose. It would no longer work very well, so you can go ahead and engrave it. I'm not very good at just giving them proper speeches. I've enjoyed working with, and again, primarily for